Alright, so you want to get RSA, but you don't know what the different modules do. In this video, I'm going to be showcasing modules that aren't self-explanatory by their name, that are useful to know what they do and how they work. And I'll also be including my AutoP3 tutorial in this video. So let's get on with it. The first module I'm going to be showing is BloodBlink. What BloodBlink does, it has two different modes. It has blood and it has InstaClear. What blood does, it will teleport out of the map, find blood, and then once a run starts, it will teleport underneath blood and ender pearl up into it. These are the best settings in my opinion. These are what I use. It's never failed for me. Wait for ground, these optional. For wait for ground, it just waits till you hit the ground, not needed. Proxy pearl, this is only useful if you have the 0 mod made by Thea. It makes your pearls a lot faster. I would recommend purchasing it once Thea's done making it. And African Slave Ping mode is made by Hyper, and I'm assuming that's where I am bad at games because he has horrible ping. So I'll showcase it now. Okay, now that we're in the dungeon, you'll see what it does. Teleports up, finds blood, then teleports underneath it, just like that. Then you can leap back to any class, or just stay here and I guess frag run. The next mode of BloodBlink is InstaClear. InstaClear, what it does, it goes based off of priority. It will find whichever room has the most mobs in it, or so right now it would probably go to Pirate, because Pirate you have to clear a lot of mobs for it to be actually cleared. What this will do, it will find whichever room that is, do the same as BloodBlink, but instead of going to blood, it will go to that room and InstaClear it. I'll showcase it now. So it says it found altar. That's going to teleport underneath it. And then boom. Now altar is insta-cleared, and I can go on to clear the next rooms. Okay, so the next module I'm going to be showing is InstaClear. What this does, it's the same as BloodBlink InstaClear, but instead of only doing it once, it goes from one room to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next, until you turn it off. And you can include wither rooms or not include wither rooms. It's your choice. So I'll show it right now. I'll turn off BloodBlink and I'll turn on InstaClear. So now that you're in the dungeon, you just wait and it'll start InstaClearing. Sometimes it fails because of, well, iPixel is just weird. But now I'll turn it off. And now that it's done a few rooms, you can see it insta-cleared Deathmite, Arrow Trap, and Andesite. Get out of here, and I don't have to clear it. I can go on to the next rooms. The next module I'm going to be showing you is called InstaMid. What this does is it freezes your game if you're at the Necron pad after you killed Goldor. I'll be showing how this works, how to make it more consistent because it's not 100% consistent, and what I do to make it more consistent. So I will be showing this once I'm in my run. Okay, so what you do for InstaMid, you go down here, just go right here and start jumping. Now you just wait, and InstaMid. Okay, so the next module I'll be showcasing is AutoSS. What AutoSS does, it automatically does Simon Says. For the settings, it's reset SS key, which I have set to J, send SS restart chat message, auto start, which you'll want on, unless you're gonna manually click the button 3 times, but that's boring. For click delay, this is how long it takes in between each click. Auto start is how long it takes to auto start. So let me demonstrate it right here. Start S1. And there you have it, AutoSS. Okay, so the next module I'll be showing is FastLeap. What this does, it leaps to the assigned role that you have set when you left click in each section. So right here, when I left click with a leap, it would leap to Archer, which would be at EE2. Or if you're in an actual party, you would want to set that to Mage. So I would set it to Mage. Or you can set it to custom and write down a username. The key I have it as left click, so when I am holding a leap, it automatically leaps when I left click. Cooldown I use is 500. I have chat message, and in P3 only is also what I use. And then here's a representation of how FastLeap works. And for FastLeap, just hold out your leap, and then once you're ready to leap, left click and it'll leap to the person you have set for FastLeap. Okay, now I'll be showing TermAura and AutoTerms. What TermAura does, it's very simple. Once you get close to the terminal, it automatically opens it for you. And what AutoTerms does, it automatically does a terminal for you. There's multiple different things you can check, or well, pick. If you don't want it to do the colors terminal, you can set it off. Same for all of these. You can have it not skip the first slot in melody. You can toggle on or off melody skip. The delay, this is a click delay. I have it set to 150. First click delay, this is how long it takes for it to click the very first thing in the terminal. Break threshold, this is just for server lags. And announce melody just tells your party when you're in a melody. For invoke, this is if you're in a terminal, if it shows, like, if it keeps you in the GUI, or if it allows you to walk while in the GUI. So I'll show that now. I'll get close to it and I can walk it because I have invoke on. But if I turn invoke off and I go to this, I can't walk. It's very simple and it's just invoke. Okay, the next module I'll be showing is AlignAura. What AlignAura does is once you're at the align dev, which is this one in front of me, it will automatically do it for you. So I'll do start S3, I get close to it, and it automatically does it. If P3 hasn't started and you're using AlignAura, it will leave one of these out, so it does all of them except one. Alright, the next module I'll be showing is AutoTerms. What this does, it automatically does this device when you're on the go and play it. The settings are delay for each shot, auto, which yes, leap out, it automatically leaps out if you have a leap in your hotbar, and then target, this is your leap target. So I'll show it right now. Start S4, and I'll walk onto it, and it just automatically does the arrows device. Okay, so the next module I'll be showing is BreakerAura. What this does is it lets you select blocks in the world, and if you have a dungeon breaker in your hand, it will automatically break them. So the settings are toggle bind, which I have set to G, edit mode, which makes it so it doesn't break them. Force breaker load is since on the P3 sim, sometimes the BreakerAura doesn't load, it just forces it to load. Add block bind, which I have the middle button, which you can see here. Auto swap, that it automatically swaps to your dungeon breaker. Zero tick, you want to keep this on. Zero tick makes it a lot faster when breaking, so I'll show you the difference here. If I go to it, it takes a while to break them. But if I have zero tick on, now I'll wait for these to come back. Okay, so if I have zero tick on, it instantly breaks them. The timeout is just for server lag, and then this is the config it loads from. You can have this to whatever you want. Sometimes for the BreakerAura, like for my pre-dev, for example, sometimes it will create a ghost block. If, let's say this one right here is a ghost block when I try to run into it, if this block right here is a ghost block, all you have to do is just right click on one of these blocks that the block is connected to, and the block will come back and the BreakerAura will re-break it, successfully actually breaking it. Okay, the next module I'll be showing is hitboxes. What you can do is change the hitboxes of certain blocks. For essence, which is a player head, you can change this to be a full block. Buttons, flat or full. So like right here, you can see it's a full hitbox. If I set this to flat, it becomes just a flat hitbox. Or you can turn it off and it will just be a regular button hitbox. It's the same for levers, like right here. And you can also change it off for pre-dev levers. Okay, the next module I'll be showing is Bonzo helper. What this does, it freezes your game until you receive the velocity from the Bonzo, or until just for this long. So right now I have it on a 147 millisecond delay. So freeze my game for that long, and then it will unfreeze it, which should give me enough time to receive the velocity from the Bonzo. You can up that, and it will up it in milliseconds. So 500, every time I shoot my Bonzo, it will wait half a second, and then unfreeze my game, as you can see right here. I'm not 100% sure what a wait velocity does. I think it just awaits velocity on top of all this time, but I'm not sure. The next module is Freecam. What Freecam does, you can set your horizontal speed, your vertical speed, and your toggle keybind -K. When I hit K, it lets me go into Freecam. You can go over to myself, and yeah, it's just Freecam. Okay, so the next module is VelocityBuffer. What VelocityBuffer does, if you have it turned on, which I just turned it on, and let's say I use the Bonzo staff, you can see I'm not taking velocity from the Bonzo staff until I release those velocity packets. It delays when you receive the velocity packet. You can set the Q pop. I have mine to H, and then the enable to J. So I enable it, and then I press H to receive the velocity packet. It's very useful for stuff like EE2, since we don't have SandAura yet. So if I load my mage configs, start S1, then I go over here, I'll show you how it should look. Then I go over here, and once I go here, it will use the Bonzo, and just like that, because when you use your Bonzo in lava and receive the lava velocity at the same time, it sends you flying. It just forces a high bounce. Okay, the next module that I'll be showing is dynamic routes. What dynamic routes is, it's an Etherwarp pathfinder. For the pathfinding, threading counts, edit mode just makes it so when you run onto the ring that it creates, it doesn't teleport you. But to use dynamic routes, you do the prefix and then dr path and then where you want to go. So I'll go into Freecam and I'll figure out where I want to go. Let's go over to bridges. Right here. To get your position, you do .dr cp. It will give you that and copy it to your clipboard. .dr path to that position, and it will find the most optimal path using Etherwarps. So as you can see, I just cleared bridges because I used this to instantly go here. You can also use a type of dynamic routes, which we have in auto routes that Genarch made, called route to start binds. It just pathfinds to the start route in your room. So if I go like right here and I hit my route to start bind, it goes straight to the start of the route. And then it does the route. Okay, so the other commands in dynamic routes is dr clear, which clears all the nodes that you currently have in the map. You can do room find or room path, and then let's say I want to go to diagonal. It finds the most optimal route to diagonal, and I'm in diagonal. Okay, one thing I forgot to show for dynamic routes is this. In dynamic routes, there's something called open map key. I have it set to L. When I open my map, it gives me a bunch of rooms that I can choose from. If I want to go to red blue, boom, I'm in red blue. If I want to go to Atlas, and I'm in Atlas. Maybe I want to go to altar. Oh, nope, shit, I'm already in altar, I guess. So they push me in. Small waterfall, and I'm in small waterfall. I think this is a very cool feature. I'm going to be using it a lot in my runs, and yeah. The next one that I'll be telling you about, I can't enter M7, so I can't show it. It's relics. There's a relic pickup aura, place aura, and look, where it just looks for you. Okay, the next module I'll be showing is ByebyeWatcher. It's auto bloodcamp. You can change all these settings, mode auto, it just hits them for you when they spawn. So right here you can see, it automatically looks to them and hits them. But since I'm low kata and I don't have a good set, it won't do anything. The next module I'll be showing is FreezeState. What FreezeState does, it saves your position and it lets you go back to your previous position using your set keybinds. So it's very easy to show how it works using trail. So you see I have trail right here. I'll just run around, and then when I enable FreezeState with the keybind I set, I can go back to these different points. It's very useful for configuring it. You're not able to use it outside of the P3 sim or single player. Okay, the next module I want to show is puzzles. Right now I'm going to show the tic-tac-toe one. You can choose it to be auto or not, but once you go into it, it shows you if you don't have it on auto, it won't automatically click it for you. If you do have it on auto, it will, well, auto tic-tac-toe. I can go over here, get that chest. Just like that. Auto tic-tac-toe. Alright, the next module I want to show is IceFill. Now, IceFill is kind of annoying, but it works very well. If you have, so delay 0 is server tick. So this, it will never break even with lag. But if you have it to 1, it goes as fast as it can. Just like that. But if I have it on 0, it will go this fast. It's a little bit slower, but it will never break. Alright, that's the puzzles. Alright, AutoP3 time. Now, this segment's gonna be, I think it's gonna be pretty long, so I'll put timestamps here that you can go to for each ring and each arguments that I do. For the first ring, we're gonna be looking at a line. A line, what it does, it aligns you to the middle of the block. So let's say I'm going at an angle, puts me right in the middle of the block. It's very useful when configuring, but I don't use it that much paired with the walk ring. So like, let's say I have a line right here. I'll have a line right here, and then I'll have a walk going this way, but I won't have a line going here. It's useful for the very start and where things need to be exact. The command to remove rings is bbg remove. You can remove them, you can redo them, you can undo it. Just undid something useful probably, but whatever. The next ring that we're going to go over is walk. So let me add a walk ring. All it does, just walks. Very simple. The next ring we're going to go over is jump. I bet you can't guess what this one does. That's right, it just jumps. But let's say we don't just want it to jump. Right here, let's say we want to stop all of our movement. We'll add a stop ring where it lands, and then we'll walk onto the walk jump, and it'll stop right here. The next ring we're going to go over is Bonzo. Now, there's multiple ways to Bonzo using this AutoP3. You can make a movement ring, where it's a movement recording, and you use a Bonzo in there. You can make a use ring, where you use a Bonzo through the use ring, or you can just use the simple Bonzo ring, or fast Bonzo, but Bonzo and fast Bonzo are practically the same thing, I'm not gonna lie. We'll start off with Bonzo. UG add Bonzo. We want to add the Bonzo looking where we want it to Bonzo. And now what happens is it turns on VelocityBuffer and then Bonzos us. So as you can see, I have one packet stored. If I release it, it Bonzos me. The only downside to this ring is it's kind of weird in my opinion. But if you use a command ring to pop the velocity buffer just like this is how you set up a command ring. So you do add command, and then you specify what command you want it to do within the quotations. Right there. So right here it would be boom, and then so it bonzoed, and then once I entered here it popped it, which made me actually get the Bonzo velocity packet. Now, rings are tick based. So if you run over a ring, it doesn't mean it's 100% gonna work, just like right there, since it's tick based. The next type of Bonzo we're gonna look at is use. If we put a use ring right here while holding our Bonzo. The next time we walk over it and it activates, it will use our Bonzo. It won't turn on VelocityBuffer, which is why I primarily use rings with Bonzo instead of the Bonzo ring. And that's all it does. Now the fast Bonzo is, I'm pretty sure, the exact same as this Bonzo, so I'm not going to go over it. Next ring I'm going to look at is the boom ring. The boom ring is, it just does exactly what it sounds like. BG add boom. When you jump in it, it uses a super boom or infinity boom or whatever you have. What the edge ring does is it jumps when you're at the edge of a block. So if I add an edge and then a walk and I use it, it will jump at the very edge of the block, as you can see right there. It's very useful if you're making stuff where you have to have a very long jump. The next ring we're going to look at is movement ring. What the movement ring does, it plays back a recorded movement. So if I go over here, stand right here, and I go into the GUI in AutoP3 movements, and let's record a route called test. I can start recording it by X, which is the keybind I set in the GUI. Start recording it just like this, and this is another way that you can use the Bonzo ring, just like that. And then let's bring it back here. Now, to use or to make the movement ring, you do movement and then route, and in quotations you do the route name. So I just recorded test, so I'll play back test. And as you can see, it played back test. The other thing that you can do with this route recorder is the blink ring. I'll show you how it works. BBG add blink, and then you do route, the route you want it to play, and then blink and how many packets you want it to blink. I do 16. You can go up to 17, but I do 16. So when I go and activate this blink ring, my player on server side will be right here on the ring. It will not move until I hit right here. It's not moving anymore. If I left click, my player's still over there, but once I left click, my player will blink to here and then play back the rest of the route. Just like that. If I was an average user, I would not use blink that much. Just use it for stuff like relics or something like that. It's not 100% safe, but it can be safe if you know what you're doing and how to use it. Alright, the next ring we're going to look at is chat. The way that the chat ring works is you add BBG add chat and then message and then quotations and then the message you want to say. So I'll say recording. And it said the message when I went onto the ring. Alright, onto the command ring. What the command ring does, it plays back a command. So you do a BBG add command, and then the command that you want it to do. So like in the Bonzo explanation, how I did VB pop to pop the velocity packet so I actually receive it, you can do the same for any other command. The next ring we're going to look at is StopWatch. How StopWatch works is you BBG add StopWatch. So now the stopwatch is started. The next time I run over a stopwatch ring, it will stop. And it will tell me how long from there to there took. Alright, those are the rings. Now we're going to look at the arguments that you can do. So we're going to start off with the exact argument. So let's say you're somewhere outside of the middle of a block, the middle of 2 blocks intersecting, or the middle of all 4 blocks intersecting, like right here. Okay, let's say you're right here. You're not in the middle of the 2, but you're close to it. If you add a ring, it will put it in the very middle. But if you use the exact argument, it will put it exactly where you are. So right here, now it'll put me right there. The next arguments that we're going to look at are the width, height, length, and radius. So if you add a line, L for length, we're going to put the L to 2, or no, to 1. Now it's a long ring. But if we put it to width, which would be W. Now it's long that way. But let's say we want to do both of these without having to do this. Without having to do two different arguments. We can just put R1. R for radius. Okay, the next arguments we're going to be looking at are the most important ones in my opinion. The term argument, the leap argument, the ground, trigger, delay, and term close argument. So if I add, let's say, a walk ring, and then with term as the argument, it will wait until I open a term, then it will walk that way, or for a left click. I'll show it right now by starting S1, and then once I open this term, it will walk. Okay, the next argument we're going to be looking at is the trigger argument. So let's say I have a line right here. I want to go over there, but I don't want to go over there right as I enter this align ring and I'm done aligning. So I'll make a walk and then C for click, or well, actually it's for trigger. But in here you can set what trigger button you want, and I have it as left click, so I just use C as for click. But you can set it to whatever you want. And then I'll add a jump. Jump right there, so it will be right here. Wait for me to click, and then it will go to that lever. The next argument we're going to be looking at is delay. How you use delay is just like this. Let's say we want to walk and then we want to delay a walk. So we'll add delay, and then how long we wanted to delay that walk for in milliseconds. So we'll add 150 milliseconds of delay. Now I have a walk click over here, or walk trigger over here, that doesn't walk until I do the trigger button, a stop over there, a jump to get me over there, and then a delayed walk that waits 150 milliseconds and then it walks. As you can see, it had a delay. Alright, so now I'm going to show you an example of how I would config. I'm going to make a config go from here to SS. I'm going to start off by adding a line with the radius 1, so it lines me here. And then a walk. I'll add a jump. And then I'll run that back since it actually got over there. I'll turn on FreezeState. Have it walk. And I'll try it again. Okay. And now I'll have it go this way. I want it to go this way, but since a walk has a little bit of I don't know if I'd call it drift or drag or whatever, but because of that, we don't have a line here. I'm gonna have it go look this way while I have the walk, so it goes that way. Okay, it looks like I didn't actually have enough speed that actually made me drift, or would have made me drift. So I'm gonna just have it go straight where I want it to look. Okay, now I'll add a jump. Try it again. And I'm not gonna make it. So I'm gonna add a walk midair, walk that way a little bit, and hope it works. Cool. Looks like that's going good. I can add a walk and then a jump right here, and hopefully it works. Yep. Then a walk jump this way to get me up there. Alright, there, as you can see, I didn't make it, so I need to make it look a little bit more that way. So a little bit this way. Okay, a little bit better, but I think I can make that better. Okay, we're gonna have it look that way. Boom. Perfect. Then we can have it. Where does it fall? Falls right here. Now we'll have it just walk this way and make sure it looks good. And then we just have to add a jump, which I think a jump right here would be fine. Okay, so it falls right here. I'll just add a walk to bring me over here, and then in the very middle of these four, I can add a line and then R1 for radius 1. Okay, that's all you need to do. And now we're at SS. Alright, I hope this video showed you all the modules in RSA and helped you learn how to config AutoP3. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video.